Oops. They said, bear with me here. I had to get a new computer, so the screen sharing or the recording is not going to be as smooth, and I apologize. So first of all, it's your boy. I'm sorry, quote unquote, your boy, Ballface8020, back with another great response video. I was gonna do something else. Before on Thanksgiving, I got I was feeling better on Wednesday, and I got kind of sick again on Thanksgiving, and forgot what I was gonna do. But I think I'm pretty sure I had an idea about it, like something I wanted to do a video about. Now I'm feeling better, and I don't remember what it was. Still not all the way back, as you can tell, but definitely improving, at least for now. Hopefully that keeps up. So anyway, Casey's already made a video with these two girls before. He's got these like two 20-year-old girls who are these two. I know JBW is supposed to apply to guys, but these girls are like the best example you will ever see of like a female version of JBW. So I mean, they're hot, but in a JBW way. But but Casey's 26. So where the hell did he find these girls? Is he dating one of them? That's probably what it is. He's probably dating one of them, and the other one's her friend. And okay, so that makes sense. Because I'm saying if he's just hanging out with 20-year-old girls, it's like 26. He's still a young man, but he's too old to just be hanging out with girls that age. I mean, now if he's dating one of them, that's a different story. Also, and I think I've said that. I'm not sure I have said this. I think other people have pointed out in the comments. The facial hair doesn't work for Casey. It doesn't work, and he's made a mention in the past when he was younger that the reason, he didn't wear facial hair was not an aesthetic thing, but because he just didn't like the way it felt on his face. And I can really relate to that because I would prefer to grow out my facial hair, but I hate the way it feels. So I just shave it off. And so Casey's doing it to like try to be more masculine, or I guess he's part of, I don't know. It's Casey, let him do his own thing. But the thing is, it's like, okay, but if it doesn't work for you, then maybe you shouldn't wear facial hair. And it just doesn't work for Casey. Like I used to think that Casey was a decent looking guy. If you see the videos when he was kind of like, he was at his best in sort of like the college jock look. Now I know he's white and blonde, and he's like very Germanic Nordic. So that kind of look, if you're not like truly like a Chad type in the face, and you have like those really super blonde Nordic features, that you're not necessarily going to maintain your looks as you get older. As you start to like lose the boyishness, you're just not going to look as good. I mean, everybody declines, after their early 20s, but it's going to be more noticeable for somebody like Casey. Not anything against him, just because some phenotypes decline faster than others. Like, for instance, Asians tend to look really good like into their 50s, and Nordics probably, Nordic whites age the worst. But this just generally speaking. But I think, he's grown up and stuff, I know, but so he can't, like, maybe it wouldn't make sense for him to try to do the same styling he did in his early 20s. But I don't know. I just don't think the facial hair works for him. I think he'd look better without it. And I don't think he looks more masculine with him. With the facial hair, I think he looks more old, but I don't think he looks more masculine. And I'm not like some Casey hater here. I've been very complimentary of some of the, positive qualities, and he does have a lot of positive qualities. He's just not likable, but he does have a lot of positive qualities. I'm just, I think that there's some things to learn. He's got some. I see him making some stylistic mistakes in how he presents himself. Although, really, when it comes to your appearance, the most important thing is that you're satisfied with it. Like, if you like the way it looks, like, I think most people probably think the way I style my hair is really stupid, but I like the way it looks. So, that's, it's most important is that it works for you. unless you're actually, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to actually impress other people, though, then maybe you want to do what other people think looks better. Also, whatever, maybe not everybody agrees with me, but I have good taste whether people agree with it or not. Casey's tastes are just horrendous, and he should be getting fashion advice from somebody else. Talk to Kerrigan. I'm sure Kerrigan would have something good to say about it. So anyway, this video, though, it's not, great, but he's got these two girls talking about things that they think are hot or attractive in guys. And I didn't particularly care for their input. And let's just hear what they have to say, and I'll respond.
Who like the facts, you can choose to hate the facts. It doesn't matter. The fact is that I gave these two girls a camera, unscripted. I said, tell these guys exactly what you think and how it is, and they're going to let you know. So I did not filter any of this. This is coming directly from them. That is the first point that I want to make. The second point that I want to make is if you go to numerous dating channels, guys say things like, oh, the SMV peak for women is like 20 to 23. Well, okay, here's...
I'm afraid it may be lower than that, unfortunately. Human beings in general, they don't age well. And they peak in looks earlier than sometimes are given credit for. I think women especially. And you'll see people, and I think it's probably a little bit more common with women than it is with men, but you'll see it with them too, who they're facially, now obviously you wouldn't look at them this way because they're not necessarily physically developed, but facially, they will get less attractive even in their late teens. They will become facially less attractive. And I think a great example of this would be the redheaded girl on Game of Thrones. I think her name's Sophie Turner. When the series started, again, she was underage. No guy should be looking at her that way. I'm not saying that I was. All I'm saying is that she was, a beautiful young girl. I mean, I'm not old enough for anybody to sleep with. I get that. But she was a beautiful young girl. And her face didn't really age that well. Even before she got the declining from age, the age decline that comes after the early 20s, her face just grew in kind of a way that I found less attractive. I know some people think that she was still really beautiful, but I think when she hit that growth spurt that she lost a lot of her looks. And that happens. It happens. Like I said, it happens for guys too. So I think that SMV for women, I think it probably peaks before 20 to 23. I agree that 23 is usually the end part. By the time you get to 23, any girl is starting to show at least some signs of decline. She might still look great, but she's, past her peak. I just don't, I don't think it takes to 20 to get there. I definitely, I don't know what it was like for you guys in school, but I remember in middle school, having conversations with guys about girls who had already started to decline. Girls who, all the guys were into when we were in 6th grade. And then, by the time we were ready to go to high school, had already noticeably declined. And I can think of at least one girl who people had praised her. But look, I could have just been weird. I know that some people had said she was attractive, but I didn't find her remotely attractive. And then I saw her on the first day of school in 9th grade, and I was like, oh my God. I was like my mind was just blown out. But in her, and so that's so I guess I saw her at 14. She was already clearly declining by the time we were 16. By the time we were I started to notice some decline in 10th grade, but I thought, nah, it's just me. It's not really there. But by 11th grade, there was just no disputing it. So no, I think that, and again, for one more time, I want to emphasize, I've seen it happen with guys too. I'm not into guys, so I can't really comment, but I've definitely heard, I remember when my sister was in high school watching this show called, what was that show with that Lauren Conrad girl? Because there was somebody, yeah, whatever it was, there was some guy in that show named Steven. And my sister like had a super crush on him. She thought he was so beautiful. And then like the next season, she was like, ew, like what happened to him? And to me, he looked the same, but he had just gotten a year older, and I guess his face had grown and he had lost sort of that attractiveness. It wasn't that he was looking older. It was just that last growth spurt didn't work for him. So that shit happens. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear about all that. Let's get into the video.
Here's two 20-year-old girls. They're telling you exactly what they like and what they find attractive.
What women don't know what they like or they find attractive. Don't listen to what women say. Okay, it's a waste of time.
Third thing, for the next 24 hours and 24 hours only, I am running a Black Friday sale. There is 2 specific offers for you. The other couple days, I have not shown you what the second offer is. In the next 24 hours, once this is over, both of these offers are going to expire and the pages are going to redirect to the original back at full. I'm giving you this gift this holiday season so that way you can maximize your exact goals to make you the man that you want to be.
So we're going to give you a little inside scoop on what we find hot.
See what I mean about JBW?
And start with mine, which is eye contact. Eye contact is so...
Oh, I'm out. I've never been able to make eye contact with anybody. I really don't like doing it. I'm really uncomfortable with it. Now, I don't know how common it is, because I think most people aren't as extreme as me, because there's been multiple people who've like mentioned to me, like, why don't you make eye contact? And when I used to get in fights with my parents, especially with my dad when I was a kid, he would be like, look me in the eye. He thought I was like disrespecting him by not looking at him in the eye, when it's just something that I just hate, looking people in the eyes. But it's interesting, like, she's going to talk about the whole confidence thing and stuff. Is it that I can't make eye contact because I have low confidence? Well, I'm certainly not a high confidence person, and I never have been. I really don't think that's where the eye contact thing comes from. I think I'm just uncomfortable with it. Now, there could very well be some correlation. Like, if you're somebody who isn't comfortable making eye contact, you're more likely to be unconfident. Like, maybe there's like they have a similar mechanism between confidence and eye contact. And maybe if I was confident that I could make, I have no idea. I don't think in my case there's a direct connection. I do think that there can be, it depends, man. If somebody's looking down, that can often, depends on the situation, often be a sign of low confidence. But just looking away could mean anything. They could just be somebody who doesn't like eye contact. They could really be unconfident. So I don't know. But anyway, the thing is, generally speaking, in life, just interacting with people, you're supposed to make eye contact. Imagine you were in jail, and the thing is, you don't want to give off any signs that you're scared or intimidated, because if you do give off, even if you are, because if you do give off of those signs, those guys are predators. They're going to come off on it. So what people are going to say is, make eye, if to help you survive, make eye contact, show them that you're not scared, even though you are. I've never been in prison. I wouldn't necessarily give that advice, but what do I know? But in that type, so if it was me, right, let's just say if it was me going into prison, I would not try to apply that, because in my experience, anytime I have tried to show confidence that I wasn't feeling, I made myself feel even less confident. I think it's better to just lean in, just if you don't and again, your mileage may vary, but for me, what I do is, if I'm not feeling confident, and I know that this is a little bit different than just the eye contact thing, but if I'm not feeling confident, I don't know if I want to say I'm going to embrace it, but I'm going to accept it. Just be like, look, I'm really uncomfortable. I feel scared or vulnerable or whatever here. It doesn't really happen so much these days, but that's just part of getting older. But when you're young, it's just I'm just going to be I'm just going to accept that and just, wait it out, And, that's kind of how I feel. But, so if the idea is, and that would be my concern about advice or input like this, is that it's telling guys, go out there and try to make to make eye contact, which you should do if that's something that comes natural to you. But to tell people to go out and engage in behaviors that are uncomfortable for them, there is a place for that at times, but for me, it's been counterproductive, and I think for a lot of people, it is going to be counterproductive. Now, one other thing, and you'll notice this with a lot of this advice. Women, and these girls are no exception, and this is kind of an old, like, black pill, like, idea. Like, women, when they talk about guys, or they only really think, they're only thinking about the attractive guys. Like, she doesn't want some unattractive weirdo to make contact with her, the eye contact with her. That's not going to be attractive to her. She means that this is attractive when it's coming from a guy who, A, I'm already attracted to physically, and or he's got a lot of status or whatever. So, but a guy who, for whatever reason, I'm already attracted to, and B, the eye contact comes natural to him. Because I can't say I've ever seen it firsthand, and I kind of get skeptical of the people who do say they've seen it, because I can't imagine there's too many guys like this. But I've heard about it, so maybe it never actually happens. I don't know. But I've heard of cases of guys who are, Chad types, but very aw shucks, and, like, very kind of, like, blushy and stuff like that. And women will be still, like, super into them, and actually find the shyness to be attractive. So I don't really buy it. I think what she's trying to say, and there's nothing necessarily even wrong with her saying this, it could have something to is if Chad or Chad Light, who she's already into, makes eye contact with her, she likes that. Okay, but that doesn't apply to most guys watching this video, I don't think.
Attractive. So hot. If you're looking at us, it shows confidence.
Yeah, it's hot when Chris Hemsworth does it. It's not hot when I do it.
You're looking at us, you're talking to us, making eye contact, or we're watching in on a conversation, and I notice you're making eye contact with the other person that you're talking with. That's really attractive. Shows confidence. It's nice to be able to look into someone's eyes when you're talking to them, Like, you don't want to have a conversation with someone and they're just... That's not attractive. So...
Okay, so I have no chance with these girls, apparently.
Eye contact is a great one.
See, eye contact is just basic things. If you give eye contact with somebody, it shows that you have enough dominance or confidence and conviction in yourself that you're not scared of the other person.
Well, it depends. It shows that if it's coming naturally to you. If it's not coming natural, if it's something you're having to force yourself to do, then it's not showing that. And I think people generally see through it. So, it's my 2 cents.
A person. Women find that extremely sexy because they want to know that you can protect them. And the best way to do that is to show that you're actually willing to look somebody in the eyes. It's not that difficult. Just start practicing it. Even if it feels uncomfortable, do it anyways.
Another point that I have is being with friends.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't endorse. I can't say he's wrong, but I just can't endorse it.
And you're both doing your own thing. You're hanging out with your guys' friends. I'm hanging out with my girlfriends, whatever. And then you come up and you check on us. And you're just like, hey, how are things going? Like, are you doing okay? Like, do you need anything? Maybe you are about to pee your pants and you don't know anyone else there. You're with their friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where the bathroom's at. and it's just like, oh, then I have an opportunity to say, like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Just something easy, something simple. Or
yeah, not necessarily the bathroom.
No, not necessarily that. But that's just
well, I'm a little confused about what this video is. She says 5 turn-ons that girls find super hot in a man. I think what she's saying there is nice and considerate. I'm all for it. Is that really going to turn a girl on, though? Just being considerate? I mean, I don't think that's true.
an example.
Okay, their second point. Okay, this probably goes against a lot of the man-type dating channels that you watch. I don't care, because the fact is this. If you like a girl and she likes you, okay, and you guys have both established that connection and you both have established that relationship and there's mutual interest, it is your job as a man 100% to look out for her. So you have to do those things.
Well, I mean, I don't agree with that, and I don't think you do need to look out for her. I think that she's. I mean that this is part of what like part of being an adult is that you don't need somebody to look out for you. That like even in a society like a society where women have very little status or freedom or even control of their own lives, like in the Taliban, like Afghanistan or something. I don't think even then I would expect an adult woman to be able to look out for herself. Like the thing is, even if you don't don't even if let's say you don't think women should have equal rights, you still think they're adults, right? And like even if you think like women should have like as few rights as they do under the Taliban, and like okay, that's one thing, but they're still adults, which means they can look out for themselves. They don't need a babysitter. So I think I mean I don't think it's necessarily a horrible thing if you're in a relationship, but I don't see it as anything to do man or woman or anything attractive. I think if you're in a relationship, like a heterosexual relationship, and you're a guy and she's a girl, and maybe she doesn't know a lot of people there, and she's over there just going on and checking on her, like when like you know people there and she doesn't. I think that makes sense. I think that's good. That's good manners. It's considerate. I think if the situation is in reverse, that she should do it. I just don't see it as because, and I'm not somebody who denies sexual dimorphism. I just don't think it's relevant in this situation. And I definitely don't think it's something that's going to turn I mean, that would be a really weird turn on. I know people get turned on sorts of way weirder shit than that, but like usually you can at least kind of understand it. Even if it's something really weird, like if she was like, yeah, I'm really turned on when guys crush bugs with their bare feet. Like I could understand getting turned on by that way more than like I don't get how that would be a turn on. That's just kind of like nice, you know?
Now, with that needs to come the reciprocity and the reciprocal behavior of her being sweet and being genuine to you. But 9 times out of 10, that happens unless you become just a total pushover. Okay, so these little things, women see it and they like it. They genuinely enjoy it. It's okay to try, especially if you are being treated correctly and she's intimate with you and appreciates you as well. These things are like 100% necessary.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's right. So if you're in like if you're in a relationship where both of you are good for each other, and um both of you are good for each other, and you are both comfortable in the relationship, then you basically don't need to worry about any of this shit. That's part of it. You guys are just both going to do your thing. And I don't know if Casey was accidentally making that point, because if you have to think about this stuff, I mean, this is because this stuff generally applies to people who are already in a relationship. If you have to think about this stuff, I think that's a problem.
Okay, another thing that I find so attractive. Um, this is different for everybody, but it's just
Well, I mean, I get right. This is different for everybody. So why are we talking about this? These aren't like they're trying to say shit like these are 5 things that are really going to turn girls on. And by the way, I don't even think the girl with the white hat even bought into the second one at all, which I just don't see how anybody could be turned on from. But it's like it's so different. Like, so it's 5 things, but apparently it's only actually 4 things, or maybe there's a bonus thing at the end because the second one doesn't count. And then it's going to be different for every girl. Like there is I mean, yeah, I know that like in a lot of ways women are kind of all the same, but like when it comes to what they like, they can be very different. So it's just, and I mean, it's clickbait. It's the game. I can't really fault Casey for playing the game, but still.
something I like, and I know a lot of other girls like it too, is when a guy's grabbing you from behind, like by the waist, and like moves you over, or just comes to be like, "Oh hey," like, like that's real. I'm getting worked up. Like that's really good. Like,
Okay. Again, I'm gonna have to assume that's you mean like when Chris Hemsworth does it, right? Not when Casey does it. The or the Yeah, look again. These alpha dominant things. Most women are going to find them attractive when they're coming from a guy who they find very attractive, like very attractive. Not necessarily like there could be a guy who a woman is in a relationship with and she loves him and she does want to be with him and she's faithful to him, but she doesn't necessarily feel attraction to him the same way that she would feel attraction to a young Gregory Peck. It's a different type of attraction. So, like, would she like, I'm not even really sure, like, logistically what this girl is talking about, the whole, like, grabbing her up and moving from the waist. Again, this comes, maybe I'm just the wrong person to be evaluating this stuff. Like, I hate being touched. I don't like touching other people. So, I've never done this, actually, the one which she's talking about. I'm not sure I've actually ever seen a guy do it, now that I think about it. I mean, I'm sure I haven't. I just haven't thought anything of it. Also, I'm not sure it's really as big a deal to most girls. I'm not sure because I've never heard any girl mention this as something she finds attractive. I'm not saying that she finds they find it unattractive, but I think this might just be something that White Hat just happens to really be into. I don't know if this is in general. Yeah, I don't like. So she likes being physically moved, but like a small distance by the waist, from behind. I think it kind of might just be her. I don't think that, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think it's going to be a turn on for most girls.
You guys are doing that? Keep it up. Because I guarantee you that.
Dude, if I did that, I'd get arrested. No, don't, please don't encourage Casey's viewers to start doing that.
Girl will go back to her friends and be like, guess what this person did to me? And they'll be like,
I really don't think so. What did he do? All he did, you said he came up from behind you, and this is a guy who I'm presuming you're already dating, right? And grabbed you by the waist, and then they just kind of like scooted you over a couple inches. Like I'm not like, you would tell somebody that happened? Because I think most people, if you told, I guess I don't know exactly how girls talk. I mean, I have a pretty good idea because I've overheard a lot of, stupid teenage girl conversations in my day, but I've never heard anything like that. I really think most other girls are going to be like, okay, why are you telling me this?
Be like, shut up, that's so hot. Like, that's a good one. Just like a little move them out of the way from behind, grab them, say, hey, what's up? Girls love it. Girls eat that shit up. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear. You might need to leave that out.
Okay, this third point, when it comes to moving her.
Also, it doesn't sound like blonde hair really agreed with that. Like I don't think she had a problem with it, but I think she was kind of like, that turns you on? I mean, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's supposedly people out there who get turned on by, like, reading about physics. I'm serious. So, I mean, to each their own, I guess.
Okay, this is just calibrated escalation. Women like touch, okay? But in order to make the touch not weird or not creepy.
Yes, exactly. Not weird or not creepy. I can't touch without being weird or creepy. And the thing is, I'm not the only guy like that. And if you guys are interested in a black-pilled movie, I might have mentioned it before, and it's a great film. It's a good film. It has a great actor in it, and Colin Hanks. It's called Alone with Her. And the movie is, I mean, I don't know if you can call him an incel, although he definitely is an incel in the movie. An incel guy, but this was before incels existed. And an incel guy who's, stalking and going after this Stacy type. And, he sees, like, Chad type guys do stuff with this girl that she's really responsive to. And then he tries to do it himself. But you see, when he does it, it doesn't work because he's not that Chad guy. He's just, it's not that she doesn't like it because of his looks. It's that she doesn't like it because he's just a fucking weirdo. And, so like your behavior, and I know I've mentioned this before, your behavior needs to be consistent with what's on the inside. So I really wouldn't recommend guys go out and just do this because I've known this, like guys who Not all of them were good looking. Certainly not all of them were physically big. Some of them weren't at all. I've known guys who are just always very comfortable being physically handsy with girls. So they could do it because they were just comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with it, I don't think it's good advice to go out and say, just go practice. Practice on it. You're going to get in trouble. So, no, I don't like this. I don't like this advice either.
This goes for holding a girl's hand, giving her a hug, kissing her. Okay, you guys moving in an intimate way in the right format. You get what I'm saying? All of this has to be done at the right calibration. And when you can show that you're calibrated, and especially calibrated like in a touch aspect that would lead to intimacy or potentially lead to sex, women get turned on by that. It shows that you know what you're doing and you're not coming off weird, you're not coming off creepy, you're doing everything.
Well, if that's what she's getting at, she's like saying, if she's basically saying I like Kino escalation, okay, then I think we have something. And I don't think you need to be Chris Hemsworth. But if it doesn't come natural to you, I think it's not going to be effective. I think it's going to be really counterproductive. It was super counterproductive for Colin Hanks in the movie Alone with Her. So everything you see in movies is true. So, learn from it.
Everything at the appropriate pace.
Another one kind of related to grabbing by the waist.
No, it's really not related.
This would be a hug from behind.
Totally different than the grab from the waist. She was talking about being physically moved. You're talking more about a sign of affection.
Like, say, me and Maddie are having a conversation, and
it said B and Maddie, and I obviously she was actually saying me and Maddie, but it really did sound like she said B and Maddie.
I might have a boyfriend, and he comes up and he hugs me from behind. He's not expecting me to stop my conversation. He's just showing me physical touch in a way of love that, like, hey, like, I missed you.
Okay, right. So this is something that you like from a partner. You like a partner who's affectionate publicly and is sometimes physically affectionate. It doesn't have to be like, making out, but like, somebody who's like touchy, huggy type. That's what you're talking about. That's what you like in a relationship because it makes you feel emotionally secure. It's not a turn on. And I mean, I don't know if maybe Casey just didn't specify what he wanted this video to be about, or the title's just pure clickbait. I'm really lost here, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Like, how are things going? Or even it's just you two and you're doing something, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're brushing your teeth, and they come up and they hug you. And
dude, that stuff has always churned my stomach. I see it like, I see it with couples all the time. And I just see it. I'm like, how can you live like that? I feel like when I see it, I'm looking at it, like, I feel like I'm seeing some like studying some weird tribe, that's been out of contact with civilization. And I'm trying to I'm watching National Geographic to try to understand them. How can two people do that? People who are just like, they're so lovey with each other. It's just like, I don't get it. And I'm like, why would you want that? Why would you want to do that to yourself?
That is something that I find really attractive. Over there, they're missing you, and you're just like, aw.
And then the friend standing with you having that conversation, watching, is going to be sad because they're going to want.
So the girl I'm sensing, you look at them and you assume they're going to be exactly the same. I'm sensing that white hat and blonde hair have very different personalities. I know they say they're friends. Or actually, they never said they're friends. I'm assuming they're really close friends. I'm assuming they're best friends. So I'm not saying you can't have a much different personality than your best friend, but I think the blonde one reminds me a little bit more of Brittany, which is why I'm guessing she's probably Casey's girlfriend. And I think Brittany's been deleted from all the videos, which means if you want to see Brittany, I think you have to look at my videos. So hopefully, I never get copy striked, or there'll be all the evidence of Brittany will be gone. She seems more like she's like with Brittany. She just wants your typical relationship type thing. Whereas the white hat girl seems to be more into not as, I'm sure she wants a relationship and love too, but she's not as interested in that and much more interested in the whole social pecking order. She's making other girls jealous. This is the second time she's talked about making other girls jealous, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I mean, I don't know how common it is if it's the norm, but they're talking about very different things. You know, one's just is really looking for, you know, a relationship and love, and the other seems like she's more interested in social status, fun, shit like that. So totally different situations.
I want that.
That's hot. I wish I had that. Like, why do you have that?
And then if a guy does that to her, she's gonna be like, I want you. I want this one.
Now, I thought this one was funny because if you notice their body language back and forth when they talk to each other, they talk about how, like, if other girls saw that at a...
Yeah, after the blonde one said that after the white hat one brought it up. So I know that kind of undermines my point, but I think she was just kind of going with it. And I mean, I guess all girls like, you know, making other girls jealous. They do seem to really like that. But but think it's hot? I mean, because here's one reason I have a problem of any girl thinking it's hot is because every guy does this. Like, I mean, every relationship I've ever seen, this is how guys, I mean, with some exceptions. There have definitely been some exceptions. But generally speaking, this is how guys act. So I don't know what's going on here.
At a party, they would be jealous or they would want that too. This shows pre-selection value. If you are giving attention to one specific girl, and especially if she likes you back, the other girls are going to wonder why they don't get that same attention from you too. This works out in your favor with all of them.
What's another one I have? Oh, this one's so fine. I guarantee you every girl will say that this is attractive. If you're having a conversation with a boy, whether that be over the phone or in person, it's hotter in person. But over the phone is fine too, like in text and stuff like that. Saying our names in the conversations rather than being like you or like...
Yeah, I can't do this one either. I've always really disliked saying people's names. I don't know why. Now, actually, I do know part of it, and part of it is that I'm horrible with remembering names. I will tell you that she might be onto something here, though, because in sales, and you'll notice this if you talk to a salesman, they will use your name a lot. They will really pound you with your name. I don't do that. There are two reasons. One is I can never remember their names. And two is I just don't like doing it. I don't like, you know, using people's names a lot. Like to me, I pretty much only use somebody's name if I have to. I don't know why that is. Again, I don't think it has anything to do with confidence. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. That the girls think it's hot. I don't. I don't buy it at all. I'm sorry, I don't.
What's like a good
Just
example? Hey, Maddie, I missed you so much, or I love you, Maddie, or like that's my name, for example.
You know, I think it's just a Maddie thing. I think most girls aren't really going to care, like, if I love you. Like, okay, I agree with the I love you, saying the name. I agree that one, saying the name, does make it a little bit stronger. But other than that, I mean, maybe a little bit more often, maybe, and maybe that's some good advice. I disagree that anybody's going to find it a turn on. But I think it just, I mean... I think it's okay advice. I think it's decent advice to a guy who maybe doesn't use her name a lot. Say like, well, she might like it if you use her name a little bit more often, especially like an example of instead of saying I love you, say I love you, Maddie, or at least some of the time. Okay, I think that's decent practical advice. I wouldn't spurg out with it. And like if it's something that you're not somebody who naturally uses the name a lot, don't you start using it a lot. But yeah, you might want to add it sometimes. I think that most women probably would like it. It's kind of a minor thing. It's like, but I think it's okay. I don't think it's going to be a turn on per se. But I think it's an okay thing if you're already in a relationship. Probably good advice.
But just stuff like that, and I think that's really attractive. It's just more personal. You know, I don't know. I like it.
You know that they're like directly talking to you.
Yes, they're talking to you.
It's not like someone else that's on their mind.
Like, hey, how are you? Or hey, how are you, Maddie? Like that just, to girls, that's going to make a difference, especially if she's really into you. She's going to be like, wow. Like,
no, she said into you,
I don't know
not
why
into
we
it.
like it. We just do.
It's not like it went to every girl they're talking to. They're specifically talking to you.
Right. And that's just, and then in person too, it just is, I think it's just a more mature way to carry a conversation. You know, it kind of goes hand in hand with eye contact, so that's really good.
Yep, I agree.
That. Well, I wonder if like you're just like I don't like making eye contact. I wonder if that has any relation to my not liking to use people's names. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would guess probably not, but maybe it does.
I don't know why.
Okay, the fifth, when you say a girl's name, you got to understand, like, that's the strongest form of attention that you can give. Like, you're directly talking to her. Women want to feel one thing and one thing only, and that's special. If you can make a girl feel special, like you have a genuine connection with her, she's going to feel as if you are her man. You've made her feel a certain type of way, and once you've done that, she does not want you to give that same attention or those same feelings to other.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen this too many times, all right? If she loves you, you're going to make her feel that way just by, I mean, unless you're just being like a total dick, you're going to make her feel that way without doing any of this shit. So don't overthink it. And that's what I think this is.
Other women, okay? That would be the equivalent of you having a girlfriend and her sleeping with you. The last thing you would want her to do is go and sleep with other men. It's reciprocal, okay? They mean the same. If you can learn how to use that attention and make her feel special, you're going to 100% get the women that you want, and they're going to be attracted.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
To you at the same time.
Another one that I think is attractive is calling a girl a cute name. And this does not have to be in public at all, ever, if you don't want it to be.
Y'all hear that?
This can be something that is just like baby girl or babe or anything, whatever you want to come up with.
Again, I feel like every relationship has this. Like every guy in a relationship calls his girlfriend that, right? So, with, again, some very few exceptions, but almost every guy. So I don't know why we're even talking about this. Second of all, this is another thing I could never do. And I know, I'm not the target of this video. I get that. But but you know, you know me, I bring myself into everything. But for me, like that really makes me cringe. Like when people say, like, I don't even like when people say stuff like honey or sweetie, but like whatever, that I can understand. But baby girl or like that is like super cringe to me. Like that to me, I really don't like it when I see other couples do it. And like I would even say that, like, to the point, I think I find it so cringe. I'm not talking about like honey or dear or sweetheart or, you know, anything like but like actual things like again, like she said, baby girl, stuff like that. Like even like if you told me you can go out and get any girl you want on demand, and then she leaves right after, you don't have to date her or anything, but the condition is you've got to call her like baby and baby girl. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. I know nobody's going to believe me, but there's just like, I don't even have a problem with other people doing it, as long as I just don't like them saying it around me because I think it's weird. Well, you know, I don't even think it's that weird. It's just I could never say it. And I do think, like, I don't really get why some people do it. I mean, she's saying that some girls like it. I guess okay, I don't know. I think because I've heard it both ways. I've heard plenty of girls call their boyfriend or husband, you know, babe or baby. But whatevs.
And I need to interrupt you for a second, just because on a video I did a couple weeks ago,
oh yeah. There was that video. This is the second video they've been in. I remember seeing their other video. I didn't respond to it because there was nothing worth responding to in it. And yeah, she did say that. The white hat one did say how much she hates being called babe and baby girl. I think what she's about to say is, well, you know what? I'll let her explain it. And maybe you guys can like try to figure out the difference.
We talked about how that can sometimes be cringy for girls, but what we didn't touch on is if you are in a relationship with a girl, she's gonna like that. If you're just, oh my gosh, this girl's attractive, let me text her, I haven't spoken to her in 2 weeks. Don't go slide in and be like, hey, baby girl. Like, no. That's not what we mean when we say like cute names. Like what? You can go back to what you were saying.
So if like you're already in this relationship for a little while and you know that this girl really likes you and you really like this girl, throwing in a name here and there, and or even saying it, like if you guys are on the phone or FaceTiming or anything, then and you might have to feel it out. Maybe every girl might not like that, but if you see them smile or you hear them like have a little giggle,
or if they start saying it back to you, like
yes,
they like, you'll know, like you said, you'll know if a girl doesn't really like it. She'll probably just kind of like awkwardly laugh and then never call you that, and then you probably shouldn't call her that again.
Yeah.
But like I said, you'll know, and the more comfortable you become with each other, the more the girl will want it. So that's also like different from what we talked about with the pet name thing last week or a couple weeks ago.
Okay, with number 6, if you're going to decide to use pet names, it has to not be weird, and there has to already be some sort of like established relationship between you two. If you're going to say things like baby girl, shit like that, it has to be done accordingly.
Another one I want to talk.
Yeah, I think Casey's input there was pretty good. I agree with Casey. I mean, I don't know. I can't even go so far as to say my advice is to not do that stuff, because if it's something you like and she likes, then yeah, do it. But I personally don't approve.
Talk about that I find really, really attractive, and I feel like most girls do, is humor. If you guys have humor,
no. And I've mentioned this before, and I didn't come up with this. This was something on Royce's old board. Girls are not attracted to funny guys. They are attracted to guys who they proceed to say are funny. And I think Casey's sister was talking about it in the last video we did. She's saying that like it doesn't matter. Like she's like, you can be as retarded as my brother, and if the girl likes you, she'll laugh at all your jokes and stories. But it's like it's not really. You have to keep in mind that the girl isn't faking the laughter. Okay, it's that women really do find you brilliant and funny if she's that attracted to you. And similarly, you can actually be really funny and the girl won't find you amusing at all just because she's not attracted to you, or maybe she's grossed out or something. But like, it's not like, Jerry Seinfeld and Gilbert Gottfried, were getting mobbed with groupies, back in their prime. It's not like, and I know women don't really usually have very good senses of humor, but still, I never. Gottfried, I think, can be kind of funny. I don't think Seinfeld was ever funny at all. Although I liked the show back when I was young, but it was very like, if you weren't there in the '90s, I don't think it holds up at all. I don't think the show's funny at all. No. Because the thing is, again, I'm super funny, and I'm one of the funniest people I know, and I never had a ton of romantic success. I mean, some when I was younger, and yeah, I did. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't think it was my sense of humor that was doing it. And the thing is, because I don't ever remember, I've had guys who I've really cracked up, like who I've had like laughing really hard. I don't ever remember seeing a girl really laugh super hard at any of my stuff. And this reminds me, I'm sorry, I know I've told this story before too, that there was this total douchebag who it was my sophomore year of college I had a class with. And this kid was a total piece of shit. Total Chad, just a huge douche. Nothing wrong with being Chad. I've been friends with Chad types. I have nothing against Chads. The people who I do have a problem with, guys who are like physically very big, like guys who are built like The Rock. Not gym bodies. Some people get confused what I'm talking about. I'm talking about guys who like naturally have huge frames. So like even somebody like, who looks like Paul Anderson is not a guy who women are going to be attracted to, but I'd have a big problem with guys who look like guys who guys who are like really just naturally powerful. But no, I don't have any problem with Chad type guys at all. Absolutely not. And this particular Chad though was a fucking douche. And this guy was just so arrogant. And we had to partner for some project. And like the first thing he mentioned, we were trying to do it. Like I had a suggestion that was pretty bad, actually, but he was like, "Well, I want to use humor," and it seemed like it was such like a weird thing to say. He just like you kind of had to be there, but it was like humor, like what are you autistic? Like to describe, which he wasn't. Like I want to use humor. So this was a guy who thought he was really funny, and But so I think we actually had to. We went our separate ways. We decided we couldn't work together, and we both did our own project for there. But then later, at the end of the year, or at the end of this term, the semester, or whatever, he had to do this presentation, and he got up there and he even mentioned like, we tried to use humor for ours, and he did it again, and it was like, well, what are you talking about? And so he goes and he does his presentation. I can't remember if it was a video or if it was live action, but this thing totally bombed. Nobody laughed. Like the class was just dead silent. And I think what it was is his whole life he'd had people laughing at everything he did, telling him how brilliant he was, and he never realized how unfunny he was because nobody ever called him on it because he had all that status in grade school, middle school, and high school, being like the big man on campus. And this guy, I just mean big man in terms of status. He wasn't physically that big. He was about 6'1", and I don't know if he lifted weights or not, but I would say 6'1" and like a solid 190, maybe 185. I don't know. Definitely, his frame was probably similar to Casey's, but just imagine like a few inches taller, but like with a Chad face and like thick curly black hair. He might have been like part Italian or something. I don't know. But he No, so that's what his whole life he'd had people laughing at this shit, and then he gets to college and doesn't realize, or has to learn the hard way. Oh, wait a minute! Without my status, people don't find me funny, and I think it's kind of like how it is like with women. I'm sure the women who are laughing at his jokes his whole life, the girls laughing at his jokes his whole life, probably really did think he was funny. But they found him was funny because they were attracted to him. Once it goes away, they've done something. And by the way, when I was young, there was definitely stuff that did not so much in high school, but in like I don't know what it was like for you guys in high school. We essentially didn't have popular kids in high school, but we had very strong social hierarchy of popular kids in middle school. And absolutely, there were times where I genuinely laughed at things the popular kids said or did. And I actually thought they were funny and told other people about it and stuff. But if it had been like some low status guy doing it, I'd have been like, dude, shut the fuck up. What do you think? You're funny? You're not. And so it's a totally natural reaction. But I disagree that women actually appreciate comedy and get turned on by it. No. Women in comedy do not mix. There are exceptions. But that's just it. They are exceptions. Like I'm without knowing either of these two girls, and I'm sure they're really nice girls. And the one with the blonde hair looks like she's probably even got an above average IQ. I'm not bashing the other one. She just looks more like, probably a standard 100 IQ. The one with the blonde hair could be like 105, 110. And I'm not. I don't have a good IQ either, so no hate or anything. But no. Women not funny usually, and it's just a fact. They're usually just not funny.
Kind of like a more basic one, but I feel like in today's day and age, like people don't really care as much about humor. It's mainly like.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't you just say that all girls really like it if you're funny? And then you switched over in today's age. You think it's all about the physical. Now, this is just kind of, I don't know if you call it a pet peeve or an observation. I'm not going to say that even when I was younger, I never said stuff like these days. There's nothing technically wrong with saying these days. Like, this is how things are. But like, when you're a young person says it, it's kind of like, well, these are the only days you know. So like, I don't know. I don't really know what you're like. It doesn't really sound right to me. Although technically, I guess it's fine because you are talking about these days. You're not necessarily implying that you've experienced other days, but that would be one way to interpret the these days statement. But now she's saying, oh, it's actually, she says all girls care about like humor and find it a turn on. At least that's what this video is supposed to be. But then she's saying, actually, no, I think it's mostly just about the physical, like, and so which one is it?
Physical features, don't you think?
Like
in today's society that don't care about.
Well, I feel like
that.
it's all based on humor.
No. I mean, girls would never hook up with anybody if it was based on humor because women don't have a sense of humor. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Like in my perspective,
or she's talking about what I just said, like was said earlier. Like, yes, there does need to be humor because if she likes the guy, she's going to find him funny. So that's all it means, though. It doesn't mean that she's looking for the funniest guy or all based on. I've never heard anybody say that. Even like the most hardcore blue pillars don't say it's all about your sense of humor.
Perspective,
but that's your. It's different for everybody,
everyone.
But like humor is.
You're going to look at, first of all, is if they are attractive, you're going to have to be attracted to them no matter what. Yes.
End of discussion. But the question, I mean, is what causes the attraction, and that's basically height, looks. Some people just count it as the same, or status. I know black pillars say status doesn't matter. Most black pillars are autistic retards, so you can ignore them. But yeah, that's what it is. You do that and you're fine. Now, problems might come up in the relationship down the road, but you got your foot in the door. And without the looks, and I'm not saying you have to look good. I'm saying there has to either be physical attraction or she has to be somebody who just doesn't care that much about physical appearance. You'll see more of that as you get older. I don't think it's as uncommon as people think.
Personality is a big one. And what is a main point of a personality trait that you can pick out right away?
Humor.
Yep.
Humor is key.
It's really not.
Just having good humor and being able to joke around and not being so serious all the time. That's very attractive to us girls. Like, we love that because
no. But then, I mean, yes, they might like a little bit of it in a relationship, but usually, like a whole tall, dark, and handsome, like the guys who like really turn women on, the guys in the romance novels and stuff are not class clown types. They're not really humorous. They're like kind of very stoic types, very stoic, silent, very serious. Often they're guys who are like, tortured souls on the inside.
Because we don't want to always be serious all the time either.
No.
Like, I know for me and you especially, we are constantly saying the dumbest stuff
mm-hmm.
that you can say. And like when a guy can match that with us, it really does mean a lot. And it's really like, oh.
Or even
like he has humor. He has the same humor as me. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I guess they see that's probably, I guess Casey is the right choice for them. And that's probably, why it's worked out so far. Whichever one of them is dating Casey.
Doing dumb things,
Number 7, if you have humor...
Wait, number 7? I thought we were... Okay, first of all, if you have humor, Casey, you don't. So I don't think you really need to be talking about this. Second of all, humor doesn't matter. And third of all, I thought this was 5 turn-ons. Why are we on number 7?
Shows that you have pure charisma. If you can make a girl...
No, I disagree. I don't think that you can be very like Hitler had a ton of charisma and he could be funny in kind of like a narrow way, but it was like a really kind of mean and nasty sense of humor. And it was like, it almost wasn't humor. Like Hitler didn't really tell jokes. He could be funny, but it was like funny, like with the way he mocked people could be funny. And so, But like in terms of, I feel like we're talking about kind of like a more of a jovial type of humor. And I don't think that having it means that you have charisma. Like even me, like I have a certain type of charisma, but I don't really think it's the kind of charisma that most women find attractive. And you look at somebody like Casey, and we'll talk about Cole too. Cole's actually like Cole has, I mean, nobody has less charisma than Casey. Casey is like, I mean, even Joe Descartes has more charisma than Casey. Casey literally has the least charisma of anybody I've ever seen. And he's done really well with women. He's sleeping with at least one of those two girls, right? So, and he had Brittany totally in love with him. So, I mean, if charisma is, I mean, Casey is like exhibit A for how charisma really doesn't matter that much. It does matter, especially like, especially if you're kind of like, getting girls in kind of an oofy doofy way, then yes, you do need charisma. But like, somebody like Casey, who's always going to be doing it just off his looks, no. Charisma's not a big deal. And humor, and just because you have humor doesn't mean you have charisma. Because Cole actually does have a type of charisma. He just has no humor. So, it can be there. And I already mentioned, like, Hitler didn't really have humor, had a lot of charisma. And are there guys who are, like again, me, I'm pretty funny, and I have a type of charisma, so maybe I'm not an example. But is there anybody who's, like, really funny and has no charisma? No, you're right. If you have humor, you have at least some charisma. That's true. I'll give him that. But, and I mean, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not like you can develop it. You either have it or you don't. And I don't think it's going to get you very far. I mean, it might help you with sometimes, but it's not a huge deal. And I definitely disagree that girls find it hot per se.
Laugh. See, here's the whole key with this. It shows that you're at the cause of somebody else's emotions. You are not at the effect. So when somebody says things like, well, Casey, you're saying I'm supposed to have emotional resiliency. Yes, you are, but that does not mean that you can't get an emotional spike out of the other person. Anytime you're at the cause of somebody else's emotions, whether that be through humor, laughter, happiness, sadness, whatever, it shows that you're a driving force in the world. If you can make her laugh.
No, you're overthinking it.
Shows that you can provide a good experience, and you're the cause of that. Women find that extremely masculine, and they find it extremely attractive.
No, and no. Both of those things are false.
So another one that I have is guys working hard in anything they do, whether that is at the gym or if that is with their job. It's seeing them work hard and be out of breath or like frustrated to a point where it's like, oh, like I'm working hard to do this. That's really attractive because we know that.
Again, I've never thought of this before. Yes, I do think that there are women who will find that attractive if they're already attracted to the guy. So, like, if to see Tom Brady or a young Tom Brady working hard might be attractive. See guys in general, I don't see women going crazy over guys on construction sites. So I really disagree. And like all those nerds studying in math departments, like, do you see like what about like those like in Korea, all those guys who are staying up and all night Starbuckses, shoveling caffeine while they study all night for their test. Women are throwing themselves at those guys. I don't think so.
That you are putting your best effort into it. So it's kind of like an effort thing.
Yeah.
Like we want to see you try.
Mm-hmm. And we want to see that you can work hard. And
yeah, if you're already attracted. I mean, I don't even think. I'm sorry. I don't know what. Did Casey just tell you to say this? I think this is bullshit.
Push yourself to the limit and stuff like that.
I don't think you should push yourself to the limit. The thing is, it's such a cliche. Work smarter, not harder. I think I'm maybe make a video about this later about how there's real diminishing returns when it comes to working hard.
It's really freaking hot. So I don't know all this.
No, come on. It's not hot. Stop it.
That's not a swear word, is it?
Freaking? No. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe to children.
With point number 8, when it comes to working hard, your ambition as a man is all you have. Ambition is everything. Ambition.
So I have nothing. Oh, that's great. Nah, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
and not to mention future success from that ambition is what keeps a woman sticking around. Okay?
What? Dude, if no, that's not healthy, man. That's not healthy. No, man, that's not healthy for a relationship. No, stop that.
Your lifestyle and the world that you facilitate and you create through your work is exactly the life that a woman would want to be part of. Therefore, it is your job to always work hard, always maximize, your strength, your successes, your business endeavors, your money. All of that is so crucially important.
Okay, I want to do this. Is this the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, last one we're gonna end with.
Okay, 9 out of 5 now.
Now I want to go. This one might take me a second to explain. I want to elaborate a little bit. Sorry, I hope they can hear me. Because obviously we don't want that crazy, overprotective, psychotic, toxic shit. But being who's gonna be there? Or if let's say one of you guys knows about an ex that might be there of the girl or something like that, and you want to go there with her to this party or this event or whatever, and you're letting everybody know, you're holding on to her, you're letting everybody know, this is my girl.
Yeah.
Don't come near her. That is so attractive to us. You're confident in us. You want to be seen in public with us. You want to take care of us and protect us. That's really, really attractive. I don't want my boyfriend or husband or whatever to just be oh, all these dudes are going to be there. Okay, have fun. No, kind of be
I see. I see where she's going with this. I don't think she's the only woman who feels this way. I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's most women feel this way. Because me, not a good example. I know I'm not a relationship guy, but I don't give a shit if there's other guy. And I know you can say well, that's because you don't want a relationship. You don't care. Even if I did, it's if I'm with her, I'm with her, right? I don't I'm not, if I'm worried that she's going to cheat because other guys are there, then the relationship's already not any good, right? Because it's if I'm with her, that's because I trust her. And if I don't trust her, then I shouldn't be with her. So no, I don't give a shit. Other guys are going to be there. It's all right, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. And, I think that so no, I don't, no, this is bullshit. And it's no. And you and the thing is, it's I get it. There's we're in this stage today where women don't need men's protection anymore, but man's instinct to protect is still there, and women's instinct to want to be protected is still there. So that makes sense. The instincts are still there, but the situation has changed. But the thing is, I can't participate in the LARP, even if the instinct is real. It's at the end of the day, nothing's going to change the fact that you don't need my protection. So I can't, I'm sorry, I can't, I got too much self-awareness to LARP like you do. You want to LARP, that's what it would have to be. We're LARPing that, I need to defend my territory here. And I can't do it. I'm sorry, because, maybe in a different society where, you didn't need my protection, I could do it. But in this, I can't, I'm sorry. And, fuck that. And, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she's the kind of girl who does need that, and then that's okay. I mean, and you want to be with her, and that's what she needs, then yeah, do that for her. But again, I don't know if it's most, and even if it is most, I think there's many who don't feel that way. So I don't project this as advice to all women, or yeah.
Why don't you care about me?
Yeah, kind of be oh, so
do I have to
worry?
I get to come?
I'm coming with you.
Yeah,
that's really, really attractive, and it all goes to show that you guys care. And I know a lot of girls I want to say something, but I don't know if I'm gonna get what. A lot of the femmes out there are
What did she say? Did she say a lot? I can't tell if she said a lot of the femmes, she was trying to say feminist, or it sounded like she said fess. So I don't know what she was saying there.
I don't want a guy to tell me what to do. Bitch, I do. I don't know either. Casey can cut it out if it's bad. But, I do. Tell me, no, you're not wearing that shit out. Like, okay, I won't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you like that.
No, with this point,
Yeah, Blondie didn't like that. Right. Well, so again, this gets back to like my problem with this is, these girls are talking about what they like. They're not really talking about what women like. I don't think that these girls, either of them, are necessarily particularly representative of how other cute white girls in their age group think. I just don't. I think some of them might be, some of the things might be, some of them might not, but there's just so much variety. So I didn't think there was, I mean, look, dude, I hope these girls are featured more. I enjoyed looking at them. They're certainly better than anything Casey has to say. But in terms, like, was there any like actual value conveyed? No, I really don't think so. Other than I think the say the name thing was okay advice. The I think the say the name thing was okay advice. That's something I could see somebody being like more like considerate of in the future if they're in a relationship. But that's other than that, I thought the other 9, and again, I don't really like that there were 9 items on a list of 5, which isn't those girls' fault. It's the fact that Casey's an idiot who doesn't know how to edit. But yeah, that's all for now, and I will see you guys in the next. Uh-oh.